Most men think they'll finally feel like they've made it after landing the perfect job, earning more money, or achieving a major goal. But the truth is, becoming the man you were meant to be rarely happens in one big moment. It shows up in quiet changes, in the way you think, the choices you make, and the things that no longer control you. Here are 5 signs that you may already be becoming that man, even if you haven't realized it yet. Topic 1. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. Most guys spend years trying to prove something. They want to show they're strong, smart, successful, or worthy of respect. But one of the clearest signs of maturity shows up exactly when that need disappears. The man who's finally found his identity understands that his worth doesn't go up because someone praised him, and it doesn't go down because someone criticized him. He stops living for applause and starts living according to his own principles. That completely changes how he reacts to everyday situations. Criticism at work stops turning into an ego battle. Someone else's success stops being a reason to compare himself. Instead of burning energy trying to impress people, he puts that time into actually growing. It's like someone who stops constantly checking the rearview mirror to see what everyone else is doing and starts focusing on his own road. This shift can seem subtle, but it changes decisions, relationships, and even the way he faces challenges. The interesting part is that this kind of confidence is usually quiet. It doesn't need speeches or over-the-top displays of strength. People just notice when they're in the presence of someone who knows who he is. And when a man stops chasing validation, he gains something way more valuable: peace. But that peace brings a new challenge, because the next step isn't just letting go of proving your worth. It's learning that not every battle deserves your energy. Topic 2. You choose peace over ego. Another sign a man has matured is realizing he no longer feels the need to win every argument. For a long time, the ego makes it seem like backing down is a sign of weakness. But experience teaches the exact opposite. A strong man knows that reacting to every provocation is just a waste of time and energy. He picks his battles smartly, because he understands that not every opinion deserves a response. You see this clearly in small everyday situations. A provocative comment on social media, an unnecessary argument at work, or criticism thrown out just to stir things up. None of that shakes his peace anymore. Instead of reacting on impulse, he pauses, weighs what actually matters, and decides if it's even worth responding to. Most of the time, the best move is just to keep moving forward. That kind of self-control doesn't come from indifference. It comes from confidence in himself. This shift also transforms his relationships. People start seeing him as someone balanced, dependable, and hard to manipulate emotionally. Funny enough, the less he tries to prove he's right, the more respect he earns. And once ego stops running the show, an even deeper shift kicks in, taking full responsibility for his own life, instead of looking for someone to blame along the way. If this video has already changed the way you see masculine maturity, hit subscribe. Our goal right now is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us bring this kind of content to more men who want to grow, build character, and live with more purpose. Now let's get into sign number 3. Topic 3. You take full responsibility for your life. There comes a point when a man realizes that blaming circumstances doesn't change a single thing. Instead of pointing fingers at the past, at other people, or at a lack of opportunities, he starts asking himself, what can I actually do from here? That simple shift in mindset marks the start of a real transformation, because he understands that taking responsibility is the first step to getting his life back in his own hands. That doesn't mean believing everything that happened was his fault. It means recognizing that no matter what happened, the next decision is still his to make. If his health needs work, he starts with small changes. If his finances are a mess, he builds a plan instead of just complaining about it. If his career isn't moving, he learns a new skill or goes looking for new opportunities. He trades excuses for action. The most interesting part is that men like this stop waiting around for the perfect moment to act. They understand that nobody's coming to save them, and that life rewards the guy who takes the wheel of his own story. That mindset earns respect because it shows maturity, discipline, and courage. And once a man starts controlling his choices, he realizes there's something even more important than controlling his life: living according to principles that don't depend on anyone's approval. Topic 4. Your decisions are guided by principles, not approval. One of the biggest signs of maturity shows up when a man stops making decisions just to please other people. He understands that constantly chasing approval is a trap, because there will always be someone who disagrees with his choices. Instead of bending his personality to be accepted, he starts acting according to his own values, even when that means saying no or taking a different path than everyone else. That takes guts. Sometimes it means turning down an opportunity that looks good on paper, but goes against his principles. Other times, it means setting boundaries in a relationship or stepping away from friendships that don't make sense anymore. These decisions aren't always easy, and they often come with criticism. But a mature man would rather face a moment of discomfort than spend his whole life being someone he's not. Over time, that consistency builds something money or status could never buy: credibility. People learn that his word actually means something, because his actions line up with what he believes. That trust doesn't happen overnight. It's built through small choices made day after day. And once a man starts living guided by principles, he starts seeing success in a completely different light. Topic 5. You measure success by who you're becoming. The last sign might be the most important one of all. At some point, a man realizes success isn't just about making more money, landing a better title, or getting admiration from others. Those things might feel good for a while, but they don't define who he is. Real change happens when he starts measuring his success by the person he's becoming. Every decision, every habit, every challenge starts getting weighed against the character he's building. That completely changes how he looks at life. Instead of competing with other men, he asks himself if he's more disciplined than he was yesterday, more patient with his family, more responsible with his commitments, and more true to his own values. Books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey or Atomic Habits by James Clear drive this point home. Real transformation happens when the focus shifts from just chasing results to building the identity you show up with every day. At the end of the day, becoming the man you were born to be doesn't mean reaching perfection. It means continuing to grow, even knowing there's always something left to learn. It's exactly that willingness to keep growing, without depending on anyone else's validation and without abandoning your principles, that shows you're on the right track. And maybe, looking back at these 5 signs, you've realized you're a lot closer to being that man than you thought. Conclusion. If you related to one or more of these signs, take a second and give yourself credit for how far you've already come. A lot of men spend their whole lives chasing success without realizing the most important transformation happens on the inside. Becoming the man you were born to be doesn't mean never messing up or having all the answers. It means choosing to keep growing, taking responsibility, and acting according to your principles, even when nobody's watching. Now here's something worth thinking about. Which of these 5 signs is already part of your life? And which one still needs work? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know which point hit home the hardest and what change you're going to start putting into practice today. Your experience might inspire other guys going through the same journey. And if this video gave you a new perspective on masculinity and personal growth, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We're building a community of men committed to growth, purpose, and character, and our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. If this content meant something to you, be part of the journey and help us bring this message to a lot more people.